So, I'm not going to sit here forever. I'm about to tell you my perspective on what has happened. So, this is, hey, Governor Tim Watts of Minnesota, Minneapolis. What happened since Monday? Everybody now knows the name George Floyd. Everybody knows I Can't Breathe. Everybody knows the background of that cop, that he has done this before in Alaska and different states, that he has targeted people of color. And you call for, they brought the riot police in, just like they did at Standing Rock. That was in 2018. When the Lakota Indian tribe and everybody came in because they were fighting off BP and Exxon Oil, putting pipelines through the reservation, which there were treaties put in place back when about this is their land. And so broken treaties, broken promises, and then Trump became president. And then he called in, the National Guard, the riot police, everything that just happened. And then everybody was almost 500 people were arrested, and, all kinds of stuff went down. So they came in, lugged people off, tear gassed them, did the same thing in 2018. On the Lakota Indian Reservation, Standing Rock, water is life. So then we go on to over here, the people are done with this shit. Everybody is done with this shit. It is more, and here's the point that I want to make and who I'm about to address right now. Alt-right, the white supremacists, the neo-Nazis. Guess what? So you guys saw the CNN crew get hauled off? You saw, the same stuff? Well, guess who was standing there in a counter-protest? Yeah, the neo-Nazis were there. The alt-right, they were fully armed with guns, standing there in Minneapolis, just standing there, and they didn't bother them at all. They didn't come near them. They got to just stand there fully armed in Minneapolis last night. Nobody touched them because they were filmed and seen. Another weird thing is when the fires were going down, there's other videos that the actual fire department was just standing there letting it burn. Nobody jumped in. So I'm wondering what's going on. So they did the same thing, called in the National Guard, called in all that. So here's the point. If you have morals, if you're a human being, if you have a soul and you can turn on your own American people, and you can turn on, all this people, this is the last free country in the entire world. And we just had to deal with coronavirus lockdowns. Oh, I can't breathe. But then we had the police out there holding people down by the neck. Everybody's standing around, dude, let him up, he can't breathe. It's the saddest part that really resonates in your soul when he starts crying out for his mother. That's when, we all came from a mother. That's the first primal thing in life. God, please, where's my mother? My mother, come protect me. Where's my mother? And that was like a huge soul agreement in all this that started a catalyst. That moment in time, those two, a soul group or whatever, I'm going to have to meet you and I'm going to have to do this to you and this is going to happen and then you're going to change the world. You're going to be the catalyst right now that makes everybody, because this has deeper meanings than you have no idea that what just happened. Because let's talk about the protest alt-right. Oh, remember 2018 where it was at Charlottesville, Virginia? The alt-right, the neo-Nazis, all you white supremacist little jerks, you think you have right to protest. Well, sure you do. All right, get out there. Let's tell you who died on that one. So just like they were standing counter-protest last night in Minneapolis. Well, guess what? There were counter-protesters to the alt-right and the neo-Nazis that day in Charlottesville, West Virginia, 2018. So a girl who was standing there in counter-protest, a car came crashing in, neo-Nazis, alt-right, killed her. And then others were hurt. And, you know, how many were arrested that day? What, 7 or 6, if that? Okay? You get how there's a turn of events going on here, guys? Huh? Do you get it? So, alt-right. Yeah, neo-Nazis. You know, the only one, see the symbol on my neck? See the Star of David? All right, now I'm going to unveil myself and tell you who I am. You know that guy that you were protesting in Charlottesville, in Virginia? You know that guy whose church you were standing on, Bethel Baptist? Well, let's call him, what's his name? Alexander Campbell? Oh, yeah, y'all know him in Christian history. Yeah, he was the Scot-Irish, Protestant minister. Came here like 1795 with his father. It was the Stone Campbell movement, where the Reformation, where they said, we don't need this Catholicism, Martin Luther. We don't need the Inquisition. We don't need this crap. We're Protestants. It's the split. They came here, and then they started the Reformation. And then that's the birth of the Baptist Church. You got, over there. And we're talking the South, in the Civil War. That's where the Klan and all you guys. And I know where you are. Oh, there's a whole shit ton of you up in, northern Idaho? Yeah, nobody wants to go up there because, they'll meet you with, yeah. So you ready for the unveiling, all you little neo-Nazis? You see this? So I'm a half-breed. Yeah, I guess my dad's Ashkenazi, but here, I guess I can go in between. I'm an Irish citizen too, because then we go on my other grandfather. He was a 33-degree Mason. Just my great-grandfather. He never left County Cork, Ireland. Yeah, so I know you, Trump, are a Mason, obviously. And so in the United States was created by heretic Masons and alchemists, escaping the heretics. So, okay, you ready for it? All you little neo-Nazis, white supremacist piece of shit. The hybrid. Well, you know whose DNA is sitting here staring at you right now? You know whose great-great-great-great-granddaughter is staring at you right now? You ready? I'm Alexander Campbell's great-great-great-great-granddaughter. The place you stormed, standing there last night. Hey, guess what I grew up to be? Hey, I don't see color. Oh, what's this? The suffragette movement. Oh, 100 years. Yeah, we were there fighting with the abolitionists during the Civil War. We were there. Oh, look, it's Susan B. Anthony. Oh, she was an abolitionist. Yeah, the feminists, the human rights activists, Here we go. So we've been fighting, and here we go. Here it is. So, hey, you guys. Hey, how you doing? My DNA is Alexander Campbell. Hey, who are you guys? Huh? Oh, look, I found out the other part of me is Ashkenazi. Oh, you like Hitler, huh? Well, in all this, the two sides of me, coming down to find out there's Ashkenazi. And then I had 2 family members die in Auschwitz. Oh, so you want to get me there too. Oh, but then there's the other side of my family. That's Williams. And we all were the Vikings that came across the Norman Wars. And we took the bridge, and the 4 kings that took Scotland, Ireland, all that. The Celts, the ones who were the earth people, and then they like to say African American. Well, guess what? Odin had 2 sons. Yeah, in Europe. The Vikings were black and white. Odin had 2 sons. One was black, one was white. Odin had 2 sons. The Vikings were. And what you would call me would be a Moor. There's the black Irish, the old one, So, yeah, there you go. So, yeah, there's all kinds of history that you don't even know. So I'm going to address all that. So, yeah, you guys were standing there. They didn't address that part. Who was standing? The counter-protest. Well, the counter-protesters during their protest, in Charlottesville, somebody died. And a bunch of people were hurt. But, nobody went down for that. And now let's talk about Wisconsin, where I happen to be physically standing right now. Let's go through history. So let's start out in the 1700s. Fur traders, first people in Green Bay. Yes, they were slave owners. Yeah, they brought them here. Yeah. And the fur traders and all that. And then the Civil War and all that. But actually, Wisconsin was actually one of the free states. They didn't believe in it. They were come here, and then they let, in the 17-something, a fur trader, they found out was abusing his slave, and he escaped. And then that went into where the first person got in slavery got to sue their master here in Wisconsin. So we're going through the history here. And then there's a guy called Joshua Glover. Oh man, there's a statue of Joshua Glover, down there. So the women's right movement, Susan B. Anthony helped this movement. They were here. The suffragettes were here in Wisconsin. They started marching, we want the right to vote. We're abolitionists, all that stuff. So we all jumped in here in Wisconsin and we started, the abolitionist thing. And that's why we jumped in and saved the women's right activists. Here we are, the suffragettes jumped in and saved all that. And then in the Civil War, became a free state and all that stuff. So they have a statue down there and all that stuff, and they're a free state and, protection and the suffragettes and all that. So then we go back through time. And what's happening right down the riots? Okay, 1967, right here in Milwaukee, the race riots break out. Because the same thing, we're talking about a child of color was killed by police here in the streets, right? Guess what? The cops got off and they tried to say the kid did it. Oh, everybody went ballistic. The riots started all over. The race riots started, Rosa Parks in the back of the bus, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, everybody was here. They just lost their shit like they're doing right now. Like, I would have been joining that. So then, you go up through time, and this is, a segregated, and then you go, here we are still, and we're talking about 1795, when the Dutch, when America was being formed, actually, who the slaves were? The Pawnee Indians here and the blacks. So the Indians here were enslaved and were slaves here in Wisconsin too. Yeah. So they took the Pawnee Indians too. So the Indians were taken and they were put in slavery too. And then my people, the Irish, which I can claim both, when we came, because we had the Irish, all that and all this crap was going on, we were treated the same way, the mix, we were the slaves. They were kidnapping women off the streets in Europe back then too, because these guys were like, ooh, I need a wife. I need something. So if you were in England, in the 1700s or something, you could have been kidnapped too and sent to America. Yeah, all that stuff was happening. Hell, they're still doing it. What was his name? There's the Epstein, they're still kidnapping people and export. I mean, it never has changed. So now we got a global reset. We know the elites are doing their crap. We've got all this years of bullshit here on this American soil, which is, the Revolutionary War. And the Indians and the French, we all came to fight together. And then we broke free from King George. And then blah, blah, blah. We got the Declaration of Independence, which are breaking. So here's the Declaration of Independence, if y'all don't know it. is it says, in case we're taken over by tyranny, American citizens, and both sides of the Democrat or Republican Party or government is not protecting you because you have the pursuit of happiness, and that's why they give you the right to bear arms. If you feel like both sides are not, there's this clause called the pursuit of happiness and all that, and right to life. It really says their right to life. So if all this in your government, you can't trust your police, you can't trust, the system, you can't trust any of it. Everything's a lie, down to religion, down to everything you'll find out. Everything you were taught. You remember when Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1792, and then you found out, they took it as Indigenous People Day, because then you found out he was a really bad dude. Yeah. And you got the Spanish conquistadors, you got the Holy Wars, you got Constantine, you got the Catholic Church marching down the Inquisition, all the way down the Aztec murders. I mean, come on. Aren't we all done with this shit? Aren't you people ready to, stand up and say, I am totally... And that's what's happening. Too late, Governor Tim Watts. I think it's too late, because that one, I think that's why I'm gonna, the mask, is that everybody here now, and that's why the militias and everybody, are rising up and stuff, and that's why this mask represents, I am everybody. I am the face of everybody. And we don't stand for this, taking a human life. That was murder. And I don't know if Minnesota has the death penalty, but I remember where I grew up in the Wild West, Arizona. I grew up with Apache kids in Arizona, It was me and the Indian kids. So that's why I really know that history a little bit more. But over in Arizona or the West Coast, it was hang 'em high. A public lynching, like they did over in England in medieval. You watch the guy, they guillotine him, they're all, yeah, throw stuff at him. Well, they used to be able to have public lynch. Well, hell, yeah, you guys, history. How many people have you lynched, huh? KK, alt-right, all you guys never get in trouble. Yeah, why? I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, there's a one-sidedness here in America. There's a one-sidedness probably all over the world globally. Everybody's been imprisoned. Oh, did you guys hear that on Wednesday someone captured in Texas that alien thing? They took it down where this thing is screaming in the back, like, woo! And you see the planes and the fighter jets are encircling, and they're like, what the hell is that sound? They keep seeing lightning going off and something like they're fighting something, and then you hear this blood curdling, sounds like they and they have it on tape, and they're like, oh shit, man, I don't know what they're fighting over there in the whole town in Texas. Yeah, that happened Wednesday night. Yeah, so the aliens are here too, and they were taking something down, so maybe the reptilians, all you elites who are thinking you're running this world, the globals and all that, and yeah, and here's my favorite one, Joe Biden. So what is it? You ain't black enough or something if you don't vote for me, or I don't know, you anyways, here's the point back. Well, you ain't black unless you're standing in Minneapolis side by side getting tear gassed and all that. So, hey, billionaire, you got Bloomberg behind you, you got the billionaires, Hillary Clinton. We know your agenda too. We know all your agendas, huh? But, yeah, so there it is. Hey, white supremacists, yeah, look who's sitting here. You didn't think Alexander Campbell's bloodline, the Williams, my grandmother's, Williams got Irish, still existed and is standing here right in front of you and saying, fuck you? Yeah. Oh, maybe that's your karma on all of it, because she sees no color. She's been fighting. Oh, still single woman. I've been fighting for human rights since I was a child. Yeah, my mom was a cop. And see the scars on my wrists? Yeah, see them? Yeah, see them? Yeah, well, that involved, see it? A service revolver. Yeah. Yeah, who do I have to yell out to? My mom was the cop. I was the abused child. Yeah. So, what do you do about that, huh? So, maybe I grew up because I was hurt, and maybe my abuser was a police officer too, and my own mother, and maybe I'm scarred from head to toe from it, and maybe I chose to fight, for what's right. But guess what? I was an insurance agent. I have a perfect record. I've never broken the law. I've got the best driving record, because that's just the deal. You follow laws perfectly. You can stand here at the end of the day, because I got MS 3 years ago, and I fallen from the world, lost everything, and I got to actually be who I was. So in college, I was the poison pen. Yeah. So, hello. They told me I should write, for an activism, because I'm one of the best. And I was there, Roe versus Wade. I've been storming some capitals. So yeah, everybody's rising up, because everybody's pissed about this one, because, hey, George Floyd, you're all of us. Here's a face. I'm him too. Here's a face. This is all of us. You just basically stamped on all of our throats. I don't care what color you are. You just stamped on one of our human tribe, one of our human beings, one of our own. And if you are in the military, if you are a police officer, if you have any moral or soul, or believe in Christ or Krishna or Muslim or anything, whatever you believe in, that was wrong. Even the 10 Commandments. Let's go down the Torah. What did Moses say? Oh, thou shalt not kill. And then you have Yahshua. You wanted to know the true story about Yahshua? You call him Jesus? Well, he was Jewish, right? Yeah. So Mary Magdalene and him got together. She came from a different, she was a mixed child, black and white and all that. They were rebels. They didn't get married. They're like hippies and stuff. He's like, fight against the system, Nero. Pharisees, Sadducees. Don't buy into the world. The system, the government, Nero, that's the government, and the rabbis are like, oh my God, what do we do with this rabble rouser? He's like, getting all the people, and, what do we do? Well, if you want us to kill them, and then you get the story, that's what the Catholic Church did, all twisted it up, because if you read the Nag Hammadi, you can go through history, myth is true, you go through the book of Enoch, and that got the giants, and the Nephilim, and the fallen angels. And if you look in an Aramaic versus Hebrew, the angels change. Like Gabriel changes from this protector angel. If in Aramaic, Gabriel is the angel of death. And then Lucifer changes in Aramaic to an archangel who actually fought on the good side. And then there was two. Satan was a different thing, and that's why I guess Lucifer, they called it, and even the Mormon religion says Lucifer and Christ are the same thing. So I guess Christ would have been the anti-rabbi, or the anti of the system. So that's why he said burn it all. His name is Joshua, just the Christ, the soul. So if everybody's being resurrected in their Christ-like, which side do you fight? Do you let people, if you don't stand or die for something, then you fall for all. And that's the whole thing. What do you want to do? Do you want to stand up for what's right, or do you fall for it all and just lay down and take it? So who are you? Have a nice day.